Hi ladies and gentlemen, fellow traders, welcome to another episode of Weekly Forex Outlook with Chart Engineering Pro. We really appreciate you for taking the time to watch this video, and we do not take you for granted at all. If you haven't yet subscribed or you are new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any content we post here. And if you also find value with what we share here, be sure to like, drop your comments, share your views, and share this video to your fellow traders or anyone who would find this information useful. We also drop a link to the free Telegram group where we share updates of these setups as the week unfolds. We'll also have a look at the recap of the previous week at the end of this video. So before that, let's see what we have on the economic calendar for the week. Stay tuned. On Monday, we have CADJPY, and later in the day, we're going to have the CPI, NZDCPI. On Tuesday morning, we're going to have the claimant count change for GBP and GBP CPI also on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we're going to have the unemployment rate or employment change for AUD, which is more like the NFP for AUD. And we're also going to have the Euro monetary policy statements also later in the afternoon on Thursday. On Friday, we don't have any high impact news. So let's jump quickly into the charts and see what we have for the coming week. So this is DXY, and DXY from the previous weeks, we have identified this potential harmonic pattern which is likely to develop, and so we are looking towards the bullish side of things for DXY going forward. And last week we anticipated that price could pull back into any of these two areas of interest to give us some buying opportunities to the upside, and price has not made its way there yet, and as we can see, it's developing a correction, or more like something like a flag. So if you look at it in an Elliott wave perspective, you're going to see this is developing a possible triangle correction, and this is our possible. These are the possibilities. So this is the possible A, B, and this formation here can be the C, or we might likely have to wait for this pullback to happen and we get another sell, then to give us the C leg, then we go for the D leg, we come for the E leg to complete the triangle correction, then price takes off from there. So this is the first scenario we are looking out for this potential flag that is developing. So going into next week, we might have price playing around this zone, or we might have some consolidations or price slowing down towards this area of interest. Then after that, we'll be looking forward to buying opportunities from there. The second possibility is if this move has already completed the B to C leg, then we're going to have something like this. It's going to be A, B, this is already our C, so we're going to have something like this. We get a second wave, then we get the D, then we come back, get another wave, 3 waves, then we get the E leg, then price takes off from there. So we just have to be patient. We're going to have a lot of consolidations within this weekend, then we'll take our decision when price approaches any of these two areas of interest for us to take our buys from. And as we explained earlier, this area of interest is a very strong resistance area which is going to hold price. So if price is able to break through this area of interest, then we know we are heading all the way up to complete this potential harmonic pattern we have on the upside. To the next, this is the Japanese yen index, and the Japanese yen index is extremely bearish. So going forward, most of the XXXJPY pairs are going to buy going forward. So going into next week, what we are looking out for is a potential or possible pullback into this very first area of interest. Look for selling opportunities to the downside. Should price pull back to the second area of interest above, we will still be interested in looking for the selling opportunities from there to the downside. So these are the various targets we have for the Japanese yen index for the coming week. This is EURUSD, and for EURUSD, we identify these areas of interest, right? And we're looking forward to see price give us some reactions from here to the downside. We've still not gotten that bearish confirmation or bearish reaction from this zone yet. And as we saw on DXY, we might have some consolidation. So price might be playing around, giving us like a flag formation, then to be going up, then we get a possible shift, then we come all the way down. So we are going to be patient to see how price develops in any of these two areas of interest. So this can also give us that flag formation, just as we saw on DXY. So as you can see, we have this correction developing. This is a corrective move. It's a corrective move. You might get something like a flag or a pennant or whatever. Something like price is just going to be playing around here before we get a structural shift to the downside, and then we take ourselves to the downside. But then if we get price to shift this structure, daily structure we have here, if we don't get it consolidate around and we get price to shift below this daily structure here, we will look for a possible pullback. We get a daily structural shift here, we'll look for a possible pullback or lower high formation, we'll look for ourselves to the downside for Euro USD. This is GBPUSD. For GBPUSD, GBP has been very strong. So as you can see, Euro USD has been slowing down, but then GBPUSD is just going parabolic because between Euro GBP is stronger, and that's why we see this momentum, strong momentum happening on GBP and USD. So going into next week, we are going to look for a possible pullback, or maybe price should come back and give us some reversal patterns within this zone. If we get a double top, head and shoulder formation, whichever formation that develops around here, look for selling opportunities to the downside. Or if we get a daily candle break below this daily structure we have here, we'll wait for a possible lower high formation and we'll take ourselves to the downside. So we just have to be patient to see how price develops for GBP USD, then we take ourselves to the downside. This is USDCHF, and for USDCHF we had this deep crab pattern which has completed this whole move, the deep crab pattern, and we are heading towards our TP1 and TP2, and we are almost close to our TP1. So what we're going to look out for is we will still look out for a pullback back properly into this area of interest. I would like to see price retesting this area of interest once again, and we take our buys from there to the upside. So we just have to be patient and see how price plays out. When it reaches this area of interest, and take our decision. Or should price go back to the second zone below, we'll still be interested in taking our buys from there to the upside for USDCHF. This is USDCAD, and USDCAD is also developing a potential harmonic pattern, which is a cipher or shark pattern. And last week we identified or anticipated that price could pull back into this very first area of interest or second area of interest. Then we can take our bullish decision from there. Price has currently come to our first area of interest, and it looks like it might not react here. It might probably drop to the second zone instead. So we'll be patient to see how price plays around either here, or when it drops to this zone or this area of interest, we'll look for our buying opportunities from here to the upside to complete this potential harmonic pattern on USDCAD. This is AUDUSD, and for AUDUSD, we'll be anticipating that price will pull back a bit deeper into this area of interest to give us some selling opportunities from here. Then we'll take ourselves to the downside for AUDUSD. So we are very bearish on AUDUSD. This is USDJPY. USDJPY is playing out as a butterfly pattern, and so we have more bullish side for USDJPY, and even the Japanese yen index is also confirming that, since it's also showing weakness, and USD or DXY is likely to show some strength, we are most likely going to see this this pair going up than coming down. So going into next week, we anticipated that price was going to react from this area of interest some weeks ago. It reacted, but we didn't get any proper entry from this reaction. So going into next week, if we get a pullback into this area of interest or this structural point, it's a weekly structural point. So if we get price to retest this, and we get buying confirmations from here, we can take our buys from there to the upside. Should price still pull back or find its way back into any of these two zones, we will still be very bullish on USDJPY. So we are just going to be patient to see how price develops over there. This is EURGBP, and from what we saw on the Japanese yen index, we are going to be very bullish on these first. So going into next week, we might likely have a reaction, maybe a slight pullback into the area of interest properly, and then we'll get a buying opportunity from here to the upside. Should price pull back a bit lower to the second area of interest, we can still look for our buying opportunities from there to the upside. And these are various targets we have for EURJPY for the coming week. This CADJPY. CADJPY has also shifted bullish both on a weekly perspective and then in the daily perspective. So going into next week, all we are looking for is a pullback or a retest of this area of interest for buying opportunities from here to the upside. Should price pull back a bit lower into the second zone, then we might look for other buying opportunities from here as well. But if price violates this zone and counts for a retest, then we know we are heading into the downside for CADJPY. Until then, we are very bullish on CADJPY. This is AUDJPY, and for AUDJPY, we actually took a loss on this position, and we'll look at that at the end of this video. So going into next week now, we are very bullish on AUDJPY now. So all we are waiting for is a possible pullback into this area of interest, and we'll look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. So we are very bullish on AUDJPY. If price does not pull back all the way into the area of interest, it can just pull back somewhere here. Can just pull back and retest any of these daily structure points we have here, and just take off from here. So we just have to be patient to see how it plays out. But preferably, we would expect that price will rather pull back a bit deeper into this area of interest properly. Then we look for our buying opportunities from here to the upside for AUDJPY. This is EURGBP. EURGBP, this head and shoulder formation, we waited for this move to play out ever since I think February, and just when the opportunity presented itself, we missed out here at the entry point, and so we missed out on all these moves, and price has hit TP1, TP2, and we are yet to hit the TP3. So since there's still more bearish potential, we're looking forward to see a possible pullback into this area of interest. We look for selling opportunities from here to the third TP we have here for EURGBP. So we are very bearish on EURGBP. This is GBPNZD. So for GBPNZD, we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this very first area of interest to give us buying opportunities. We are not seeing the buying opportunities yet, and should it pull back into the second one properly and give us buying opportunities, we might take our buys from here to the upside. But then if price finds its way to violate this area of interest, we look for a possible pullback, then we go to the downside or consider the bearish side of things for GBPNZD. But on EURNZD, it's very clear that it's very bearish. But for GBPNZD, it still has potential or possibility of buying, but it's not yet confirmed, so we just have to wait. This EURNZD is giving something like an ABC correction, more like what do they call it? Sorry, it's forming something like a zigzag correction. So it's like an ABC, a zigzag correction. So this is the wave A, and this whole ABC is a wave B, and you are looking forward to the wave C. So it's a potential zigzag correction you're looking out for, and we can see this strong momentum to the downside. So going into next week, we are looking forward to see a possible pullback into this area of interest. We'll look for selling opportunities to the downside to target the various TPs we have below for EURNZD. This can only be considered bullish or shift bullish if price is able to make its way to break above these structural points over here. Then we know we are heading bullish. Until then, we are very bearish on EURNZD. This is EURAUD, and I think from some weeks ago we were expecting price to pull back into this area of interest to give us buying opportunities to the upside. Price has made its way to the area of interest, so all we are waiting for is if price is able to get a daily candle break or daily candle closes above these daily structure points we have here, look for it to a higher low formation and look for buying opportunities to the upside. But then if price breaks properly to the downside and counts for a pullback, then we know we're heading to the downside for EURAUD. This is NZDCAD. Sorry, we're looking forward to see price pull back into any of these two areas of interest. Then we look for buying opportunities from here to the upside. So if price pulls back here and gives us a buying opportunity, we buy. If it pulls back to the second area of interest, we look for buys. But then if it's able to break all the way through all these two areas of interest and comes for a retest, and we know that we are bearish on NZDCAD. And this is AUDCAD, and on the contrary to NZDCAD, we are bearish on AUDCAD. We're looking forward to see a pullback into this area of interest. We got a pullback, but we didn't get any selling confirmation. So all we are looking forward to is another possible pullback into this area of interest, or should price pull back again into the area of interest above, we'll take our selling opportunities from there to the downside. So we are very bearish on AUDCAD. And if we also get a daily candle close below this daily structure point, we get a daily candle close below this daily structure point or this daily structure point, then we'll look forward to a possible pullback or a retest. Then we'll look for selling opportunities to the downside. So these are the two possible scenarios for AUDCAD. And this is AUDNZD. So we actually missed this move all the way from here. We missed out on that move all the way from there. And price has currently hit the TP1, and we anticipated that price was going to pull back into this area of interest above to give us selling opportunities, but we never got that retest. So going into next week, all we're waiting for is the same pullback to this very first area of interest here. So if this area of interest gets retested, we are going to look for selling opportunities from here to the downside to target these TPs we have here for AUDNZD, because we are very, very bearish on AUDNZD now. Due to that, we're going to see more strength of the NZD pairs in favor of the NZD than the Australian dollar. This is gold. So for gold, we have been holding on to this sell position for quite some time, and currently price is still giving us more bearish signals or more bearish momentum. So going into next week, price can either react from this area of interest where price is currently. You might get a reaction from here to the downside, or price might pull back into the second zone above and give us selling opportunities from there to the downside. So we are still very bearish on gold. This can shift bullish, extremely bullish, if we get a daily candle break above this daily structure we have here and comes for a pullback, and then we head to the upside. But then, until then, we are bearish on gold. This is silver. We also had this position also. So this position is also still running, and it's still giving us some bearish moves. So going into next week, we are looking forward to see a possible pullback into this area of interest to give us selling opportunities to the downside. Should price pull back to the second area above, we'll still look for selling opportunities to the downside. And these are the various targets we have for silver. This is Brent crude oil, or the UK oil. As we explained earlier, we are likely going to see a harmonic pattern form, and looking at this strong momentum that is happening, it looks like price has already taken off, and we are yet to see, or the C to D leg is almost developing now. And initially we anticipated that price would get to this area of interest and give us some consolidations or build up a bit within this zone before it takes off. But then the fundamentals, responded so quickly within the area of interest, and price just took off, and we actually couldn't get an entry from here to the upside. So going into next week, for the weeks ahead of us, we'll be looking out for corrective structures, or maybe some pullbacks. We look for maybe some flags or whatever continuation patterns. Then we look for those opportunities. Then we take our buys from there to the upside. But then the potential harmonic pattern that is developing is possibly a crab pattern, and price might head all the way to $187 per barrel for Brent crude oil. So we are very bullish on Brent crude oil now. We just have to be looking out for bullish opportunities to take our buys to the upside, and it looks like the fundamentals is also making it possible. This is natural gas. So natural gas, we are looking forward to see price pull back into this. It's already in the area of interest, so we are going to look forward to possible reversal patterns or selling confirmations within this first zone. We will take our sales from there to the downside. Should price pull back into the second zone above, we'll still look for selling opportunities from there to the downside for natural gas. This is NASDAQ. And so NASDAQ, last week we were anticipating that price was going to pull back into any of these two areas of interest, but then it failed. So going, and that's either broken down to the downside. So going into next week, all we are looking for is to see a possible pullback into these areas of interest. So this was what we had earlier. So we are looking forward to see a possible pullback into this first area of interest. Look for selling opportunities from here to the various targets we have below. Should price pull back into the second zone above, we'll still be interested in taking the sells from there to the downside. So we are very bearish on NASDAQ now. So we just have to be patient and see how price plays out before we take our decisions from there to the downside. This is US 2000 or the Russell 2000, and Russell 2000 is also very bearish now. So going into next week, all we are looking forward to is to see price pull back to this area of interest of this particular structural point. And we look for selling opportunities to the downside for US 2000. This is the FTSE 100 or the UK 100. So FTSE 100 or UK 100 is most likely going to form a potential harmonic pattern. And if we are able to see some bearishness on S&P 500 on the most of the US indices, we are likely going to see this move also sell to the downside. So going into next week, all we are looking forward to on UK 100 is to see a daily candle break or daily structure shift here. We look forward to a possible pullback, then we look for selling opportunities. Secondly, this is the other possible move might also get price to break below this weekly structure point here, and we look forward to a pullback, then we take our sales from there to the downside for UK 100. But then if price breaks above this area of interest and comes for a pullback, then we know we are bullish on UK 100. And if this move also plays out, we're likely going to see this potential harmonic pattern develop. So this will be the potential harmonic pattern. This is going to be the X, the A, the B, the C leg, and most likely the D leg coming all the way down. So we will be patient to see how price plays out, and we take our decisions to the downside or to the upside for UK 100. This is France 40. So France 40 is also giving us some bearish movements. So it's also giving us some bearish signals. So going into next week, I didn't put the prices here. Sorry. Going into next week, we're looking forward to see a daily candle break below this area of interest and look for selling up. A retest. Then we take ourselves from there to the downside on FRA or France 40. But then if price is able to break above, we get a break above this daily structure here, then we know we are heading bullish for France 40. This is Hong Kong 50 or the HK 50. So we actually identified this potential head and shoulder formation I think some weeks ago. So this is the head, this is the right shoulder, and we head to the downside. So initially when price broke the neckline, we're looking forward to a possible pullback, and this pullback came and price took off swiftly, so we couldn't take advantage of this move, and it came all the way to hit the TP2. But now price has pulled back properly again into the area of interest, and I think it might give us the selling opportunities we had been looking for previously. So going into next week, we just have to be patient to see how price plays out here. If we get a double top, a head and shoulder formation, or any selling confirmations within this zone, we'll take ourselves from here to the downside on HK 50. This is BTC. So for BTC, we identify this bearishness, and we are very bearish in BTC now. So going into next week, all we are looking for is to see price retest this area of interest we have here and give us selling opportunities to the downside into the 58k to 46k region, and the worst case scenario for BTC might be 35k. So we are going to be patient to see how price plays out when it hits this area of interest. So it's almost there. So when price gets to this area of interest, we look for selling opportunities from here to the downside to continue the bearish move. This is ETHEREUM, and ETHEREUM is also very bearish, and it's currently in its area of interest. So we'll be patient to see how price develops within this area of interest we have here. Then we'll look for selling opportunities within the zone and take it to the downside to these various TPs we have below for ETHEREUM. So let's see what happened the previous week. Let's have a look at the recap. So this is US 30. We took this position on US 30 before I think CPI, right? I think before CPI. So we had this entry here, and price hit our TP1. After hitting our TP1, it just pulled back again into the entry, and it took us out somewhere here. But if you're able to take partials here, then I think this should be a break-even trade for you. And so price got taken out, but then if the SL was a bit bigger, this trade would still have been in motion. But then we hit the TP1 and it took us out here, so it's more like a break-even trade. That's if we took some partials when price hit the TP1. This is AUDJPY. So for AUDJPY, we took this position on AUDJPY and we were entirely wrong about it. So this is a loss. So going into next week, as we explained earlier, we're just going to look for a pullback back into this area, and then we look for buying opportunities to the upside to continue the bullish momentum on AUDJPY. Thank you so much for sticking through to the end of this video. Really appreciate you for your time, and we'd like to encourage all of us to apply proper risk management to our trades. Let's all trade safe and sound, and wish all of us a profitable and a fruitful week ahead of us. I'll catch you all on another episode. Take good care of yourself and have a wonderful time. Bye bye.